Hey, and welcome to the show. This show is brought to you by Patreon members like you.
Thank you for being a Patreon member.
As a Patreon member, you get a video of the podcast that we put out twice a month.
Now, on with the show.
There you go. We're live?
Yes, we are.
How was your weekend?
That was good. I went from my bedroom to the bathroom to the living room.
the trifecta of death?
Yeah, that's it.
Bedroom, poop, couch, bedroom.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you guys do?
We listened to the home audio. Found out that the subwoofer channel on my Pioneer preamp is dead.
Bummer.
One more reason to hate Pioneer. And so I had to make...
So is the receiver problem?
Receiver. It's the receivers doing something stupid.
Oh.
Which I already hate the receiver, so that doesn't fuel anything up. What's up from Oregon? But anyway, so then we did something I don't normally do, which is sit back and listen to a bunch of music.
And it's rare for you to
It's
do that.
totally. Well, we were just talking about how I never do that.
You never. How many times I ask you, like, what do you?
No,
Sunday,
so
let's put all.
we just cranked it, man. It was so loud.
That's awesome.
Man, it was like the house was shaking. But yeah, it was. I had to wire in the subwoofer amp. I think I put a picture of the meter working on Instagram.
I saw the meter and I'm like, we're probably just checking something.
Yeah.
Nothing
Well, what
crazy.
screwed me up was I got up in the morning and what I was gonna do was put in New York City, Queens.
What's
I was
up?
gonna put the music on and put out the laptop and sit there and listen to some old school. And I was getting it set up. I look over at the sub amp and the meters aren't moving. And I'm like, those Morel 8s that are in the cabinets work so well that
They just like yeah.
What size?
What's up, Bobby?
Sub in an 04 Avalanche. It's like a 6.5 in the center console. It's totally useless. They make a box that goes underneath the seat though. Good 210s. Bobby's in the house.
What's up? What's up?
What's up from Brooklyn, fellas? Long Island, New York is totally up in the house tonight. Holy crap!
Yeah.
All right, well let me get serious here. Ow! Ugh! Northern Idaho.
Whoa!
Oh, Steve, Dave.
What's up, Dave?
All right, Mike. Okay. Yeah. So then we just jammed out and listened to a bunch of music.
That's pretty cool.
It was different. It was different. It was definitely different for sure. And then last night, 8-inch sub. Any high-end subs you like? An 8-inch?
8-inch.
I mean, he has the P2 in his car.
Yeah, P2. Fine.
Scar makes a giant 8-inch. The L7 8-inch are really cool. Yeah, like the L7, the Q class L7 8-inch. That's a pretty badass woofer there. You can actually
What's
get that
up, Jeff?
that little
Jeff
8-inch
Smith.
aluminum box, which is pretty cool.
Hi from Florida.
Hi from Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
From Dunedin.
From Dunedin.
Hey from Largo,
Dunedin.
Chicago. Yo, gents. What did he
South
say about
Africa.
his Denon receiver?
What's up, Felix?
Yeah. Dropped an HDMI. Oh, that sucks. Any idea where I can get a cable to connect a Maestro AR to the Audison Pit Nova? Maestro, the Audison dealers, Electromedia out of California should be able to direct you towards a dealer to hook you up with one. I know they have them in stock.
Yeah.
But yeah, as long as it's up to date, that has been approved. So it would be an Electromedia dealer for sure.
Yeah.
Hey from Orlando.
What's up?
Stuff from Clear Impressions Audio, Northern Cali, up where the trees are. What would cause a Class D amp to kick out when cranked up, come back on when volume lowered, 1500 small? Typically regardless of whether it's a Class D or a Class AB or anything like that,
What's that, John?
there's really only 3 things that cause an amplifier to shut down. One is heat, which is caused by improper ventilation or a bad ohm load. 2 is the gains are set wrong and you're oversaturating. Yeah, okay, we'll use that word. The input section of the amplifier, which is causing it to clip and shut down because its internal clip detector is on. Is that Nalika?
What's up? Yeah, it's
Oh, hey,
Nalika.
Nalika, what's going on?
It's not Nalika. Of
I,
course
I,
it's Nalika.
I'm like, I know how many Nalikas do we know?
Really?
Anyways, and the third thing, of course, is improper voltage.
Yeah.
Digital multimeter at the amplifier, when the bass hits, see what happens. But my guess is you might have the gain either too high or the ohm load could be wrong. So those are the two most popular.
What's up, Christian? What's up, Lazaro?
POT.
POT.
I don't know. It's all capital. It's got to mean something.
All right. Any tricks to make doubled-in dash kit for a 2000 Honda Civic?
Better.
Ooh.
Check out the Skosh kit. Not gonna lie, check out the Skosh kit. They don't do a lot good, but they do some Honda kits pretty decent. So I would check out the Skosh kit for sure. Any experience with the Dayton Audio 18 or 21 sub for home audio? Looking at a full Monty enclosure. Ooh, I don't know. That's not. We were.
What's up, Bill?
I mean, when it
Bill
comes
Freeman.
to big woofers, why don't you think manufacturers stop making prefab fourth orders anymore and gravitate more to prefab vented enclosures so the woofers wouldn't blow up? I mean, our number one seller back then was the Alpine 110 bandpass. We would literally buy pallets of Alpine 110 bandpasses.
Really?
Yeah, it was, and we would just sell them. And we also got really quick at replacing the woofers inside of the 110 bandpasses. But I mean, all we built through the 90s were bandpass boxes, 210s, 212 bandpass boxes, and then that all just faded away.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
All right, let's see.
It's a Scar Audio down at 1 ohm. Yeah, okay. There again. If it's an RP amp at 1 ohm and you don't have the proper voltage and your gain is a little kooky, that could do it. Do you guys get white background noise on the DSP-X? I haven't tested the DSP-X lately.
No.
But white noise in the back of a factory system with a DSP, yeah, that's a really strong possibility for sure. It's not abnormal to do that. I would be curious as far as what it's going in. Yeah, the access. I'd be curious as to see what it's going in. I don't know. I can't remember if that has load resistors in it or not, but it might be a load resist issue because just because they make a T-harness doesn't necessarily mean that the DSP has loads. I don't remember if that had load resistors on it or not. I didn't think it did. So you may need a set of the blue audio control LGDs in there to load down the Class D amplifier. Maybe.
All right. Quick question. I have a 2012 Prius with JBL system. How can I get a harness so I won't have to cut it to add an amplifier?
MetroOnline.com has via the access has a ton of T harnesses available to you, and if those don't work out for you, then they also make the harnesses that are called 70 and 71. So it's 70 in 4 numbers and a 71 in 4 numbers. They're into the radio and out of the radio. You can buy both of those, and that'll give you the ability to make a T harness. That's how we do it. So.
Oh wow. And we're talking about probably this one. Down from 215s to 210s.
Okay.
And Mazda 6, looking for more efficiency from subwoofers. Don't have enough power to run a KXA 2400.1. Looking for an ultra low, most efficiency and recommendations. 210s. Like I didn't even know what kind of 10s.
Well, I think he's looking for a recommendation on 2 efficient 10s. I mean, when it comes to efficiency in woofers, I mean, the Rockford P3 woofers are super efficient, super bass heavy, and super loud. You know, you can just check the efficiency of any woofer.
I would pick the...
If Jeff Smith is
T1.
answering a question for you, he's answering somebody's question about a Toyota. That's the APH201. If you see an answer to what he's at, you know, then go. He's the national sales trainer, so
he knows what he's talking about.
So anybody that doesn't know who Jeff Smith is,
hey Victor, what's up, man?
If he answers your question, just that's what it is.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you know, don't look for something that has a giant surround on it. I mean, that's the easiest thing to do because you know you're gonna want something with a smaller magnet. Would a Punch 1000 amp drive 2 P3 12-inch? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, geez, Fernando. There you go.
Juan. T2s. T2s, definitely. I mean, si en realidad tienes el dinero para el T3s, T4s, pero T2s está bien. Y el amplificador igual, lo mismo. Subtitles, please.
No, I was looking for Bill. He says P3 is my favorite woofer. P3 is nice.
Ahora, yo te recomiendo que para ese tipo de música necesitas agregar un epicentro. Definitivamente.
John Catalano is going, Jeff who?
Yeah.
All right, well, if you ask a question about RCAs and John answers it, you know, I'm just saying, you might know who he's talking about. Yeah.
No,
what's up, Victor?
Yeah.
So how are you guys doing? How are you doing today?
It's been boring.
I know, right? The stress level of just this existence, as you guys know, is just like...
Yeah.
We all are clamoring to get back to a normal life. That is for sure.
Yeah, honestly, like...
What was his name? Jeff Smith?
What was his name?
Yeah, that was his name.
Yeah,
Call it. Say it in your sleep.
All right, this one.
Yeah.
How can I test an output from a factory radio? I have a 2015 RAM with an 8.4 screen and a pack audio version.
Which tools
do you require?
How can I test the output of the factory radio? What would you have to be testing?
You need an RTA.
Well, I don't know what we're trying to test for, though. I mean, so the way that goes into the car is that if it's an 8.4-inch screen, you plug it in, you go through the 2 resets on it, you unplug the speaker harness,
Chris,
and that's it. If you have the speaker harness still plugged in, so on the Amp Pro, what is it, CH41 version 2, allows you to program a non-Alpine, non-amplified Chrysler radio to be an amplified, so you can put in that and get the preamp section. What it's doing is it's reprogramming the radio so that the rear speaker outputs are the only thing that's active, and those go into the Amp Pro and give you sound. If you leave, now on it there's an 8-speaker terminal, and that 8-speaker terminal needs to be unplugged. If it's plugged in, you should get rear sound out of the rear speakers only. That's it. Like, no front speakers should play, rear speakers only, because now the radio is only putting sound out of the rear speakers. So really, as far as testing goes, if you leave it plugged in and you hear sound coming out of the rear speakers and none coming out of the front, you've done it right. Other than that, if you want to see the signal coming out of it, it's flat, but you need an RTA to do it.
All right. Somebody say right here.
Does the Toslink out of an Amp Pro clip at any level on the Grand Cherokee? No, it can't clip because it's light.
Yeah. There's no clip.
You can clip the input, you know, the gain control on the amplifier, or you can turn the DSP up too much. But, you know, as far as the signal between DAC to DAC, 1s and 0s don't clip. There's no sound. You know, you can still cause a clip though, but it's going to be after the conversion. So just think of it as the fastest point between the radio and the processor, and that's it. So that length of cable, you're not going to pick up any noise, you're not going to do anything else. But after that, so DSP to amplifier, oh, you can go crazy and clip the shit out of that. Have lots of fun.
All right, so Richard had a question, and he said, what DSP is the best for the Tundra with components SCAR? We just did SCAR system.
Well, I mean, any DSP will work.
Yeah, so and we used the DSR1 in that one.
We did,
and
but it's a Tundra, so I mean, I would still recommend a radio. I mean, I would always go for radio on that, unless it's a 2019, in which case, you know.
Right.
But still do it.
But any DSP will work.
What are the 3 flash BIOS in order to do needed on a DSR1? So, okay, so the 3 updates you have to do to DSR1 is, the easiest place to do it is on a Windows machine. You want to download the iData updater to your computer, and also go to Rockford and download their updater. What you're going to do first is, when you're in the iData updater, if you scroll to the bottom of the page, there's like a BIOS update. You do that one first, and then you do the top where it says flash for car. You pick 2020 as the year, and then when it goes to car, you pick other. And what that does is that just puts the latest firmware on it. Then you take that over to the Rockford, download their latest firmware, you plug that in, unplug it, plug it in from the computer, in between, I should say. And then you're going to update it to, I think, like 1.9.4, I think is the most current one, and then that's it. But that's kind of the order that they recommend doing it. I have an HD radio in my car, but it's very, very staticky. Would an amplifier help the boot? No. No. I would just make sure that in the car that you have the factory amplified antenna turned on. Most cars nowadays, they don't have real antennas. They have things mounted on the windows. They have things mounted on the top. And in the harness that you put in, there should have been a blue wire, or there may not have been a blue wire, and it needed a blue wire depending on the car. And that would turn on a booster from the factory to make it sound better. The other thing that could cause problems if you have a Class D amplifier anywhere near that FM antenna, that will also cause you problems.
All right, I have a big question. I have a 2018 Toyota Corolla LE 1.8 liters. I have a Pioneer 8201 and 8500, and both are doing the same thing. And the same vehicle running two 10-inch Sounds Gold and BFL 2250. Yeah.
Problem.
Well, the message on the radio will like for 2 seconds says the message on the radio and then shuts off and then back on again. Any ideas what it's doing?
What's the message say? If you read all that,
using Maestro data, please. What is the message?
I need to know what the message is. What the hell? I mean, you got a radio, it's putting a message. I don't need to know what's going on. I just need to know what the message is. In your opinion, what is a great radio for a Tundra? Check out a Kenwood Exelon. Any one of those with a, perfect dash kit. And then as far as the dash kit goes, Metra. Metra makes a beautiful dash kit for that car. No offense to the amp guys, but Metra's dash kit is way sexier. It's a factory radio in a 2015 Lancer. Okay, I don't know what ABS. Okay.
Yeah, they're ready for the Tundra.
All right.
All right. What are we going?
I don't know. You got caught up in that one that really didn't go anywhere. You probably should have read that one. Need recommendation. Want to upgrade my speakers. My vehicle takes 6.5, so I mainly listen to Spanish music, hip hop, and 80s freestyle.
Yeah.
What amp would you recommend?
2.
Well, if the type of music you listen to, that kind of leads us towards either a loudspeaker or a Rockford T-Series component or some Mini Pros. Yeah. Would also sound really good in there. If you like a super bright tweeter, you could also check out the Access line. But Mike Eckley, what's going on, buddy?
Hey.
But yes, one of those. And then as far as an amplifier goes, it really just comes down to what speaker you got and how much money's in the budget. I mean, there's plenty of amplifiers all across the board as a 4-channel that would power it up. I don't know. If you get Rockford, go Rockford. Audio control LC 4.800 is a spectacular amplifier with 120 watts, so check it out.
Following about the factory radio question, I asked because I need a set of the gains and crossovers on the D 4.800 and LC 1.800.
Well, you got to understand, setting gains on those aren't the easiest thing in the world to do. You're going to want to run your D-equalization on your D4.800 first because you need to get a flat signal going into it before you can even worry about the gains. But, when you have a factory radio and the gains just start all the way down, and you're going to have to kind of work with it to get it up because the way you're going to have to start with them all the way down. And then depending on how you EQ it or how the factory EQ is tuned, you have to be real careful when turning up the gain. So it's not as easy as like just plugging it in, throwing a DD1 on it, setting the gain, and then being able to EQ it. Because if you have a dip at 1,000 hertz, which you do, and then you throw a negative 5 dB on top of that, that's going to raise this up way high and you can blow speakers. So, you really have to be careful with what you're doing. It has the RTA on it, so you can kind of use that to see where things are as far as the output level goes, and just kind of take it from there. But a lot of it is going to be done very carefully. You good?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand this one about the Tweak ADA and Audio Frog mic, waiting to come in any great size to educate myself.
Well,
Check Audio Frog.
I was gonna say Audio Frog has the best white
Yes.
papers ever on educating yourself. So, I mean, if you want to know about the stuff, you stick with the Audio Frog stuff.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean,
Check
Andy does
Audio
a
Frog,
spectacular job of walking you through it and just hell, and even follow him on Facebook. There's a
lot
a ton of
information
information there that's free for you to have. So.
Yeah.
I had a shop charge me 5 hours for tuning an Audison 8.9. Is that much time needed? Okay, so let's think about that one for a minute. Today we had a car come in that another person had done the install on, and there was 2 amplifiers and a radio.
Yeah.
And we spent 2 hours?
2.5.
2.5 hours on it. Now, there was no DSP in the car.
DSP.
But what we had to do, he had an Alpine radio, some Alpine amplifiers, and Alpine speakers. And he was like, I need it tuned, as it were. So we have to start by first going over the system, making sure that everything is the way it's supposed to. Go into the radio, set everything flat. Then we have to disconnect all the speaker wires from the amplifiers that he'd already done. Okay. Set our gains using the DD1. Okay, so that takes some time. And then we have to use the CCA one to go back in, and now we can set the crossovers. Once we got that done, we had to go in and we had to replace all his ferrules on his wire because they were all too short and they wouldn't tighten down. So we did that, and we put them back into the amplifier. At that point, we then played a polarity track, tested the polarity on all the speakers. Okay. Then I sat in the car. Fernando measured me to figure out what the time alignment would be. He had 8 speakers, so we had to measure all 8 of them, even though we were only going to use the 4 main ones. Then, because it's an Alpine deck, we had to do a bunch of math to get the right time alignment numbers in, because they're not one that you can just type in the right numbers. Then we had to take our iTest mic, go to our iPad, and start tuning the car, as it were. Because up until that point, the only thing we had done is set the gains and crossovers. We physically hadn't started tuning the car. Okay, so then we sat in the car, or I sat in the car, I should say, and started tuning his factory deck, which only has a 9-band parametric EQ. That's it. There's not left, right, front, rear, none of that stuff. It's just one 9-band parametric EQ. So it's a pretty straightforward process. Then get the time alignment back right now with the EQ curve. Listen to a couple songs afterwards just to do a final test. There's about 3 songs there. And then the car was ready to ship off to the customer. So, and that took 2.5 hours to do it right. So 5 hours with a full DSP, depending if it sounds amazing and they did a wonderful job, yeah, I could totally see somebody charging that, yeah.
Craig, go with the 4500. That's the newest model. So go with the 4500.
Definitely. We worked together, what, 6, 7, 8 years? Something like that? Between 6 and 8 years.
7.
They did the install. That change was separate. That charge was separate from the install. It was just for tuning. Yeah, so I mean, when we do a system, we charge just for tuning. We typically don't charge 5 hours, but there again, it depends on what they deliver.
What did they do?
I've talked to several guys that charge 5 hours. Sometimes they'll give 2 presets. We give 1 preset. That's it. We do 1 preset. We're done.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And we charge about 2.5, 3 hours. So yeah, I mean,
it depends what they did.
I mean, it depends what they brought to bear on the situation. But we also, you know, that's a total price built into the installation quote. So it's like when we install DSP, we know we're going to have to tune it. So there's like this one charge for the installation and tuning fee as far as that goes. But there again, everyone has their business model.
Different systems require sometimes like a half hour more or an hour more.
So like a full active system compared to something that is like crossovers, passive crossovers, there's a lot more time involved in a full active system, because now I have to tune for 9 speakers individually. That's 9 EQs as opposed to just, let's say, 5 EQs. So there's a big difference there. And depending on how much time it takes me to figure everything else out.
Yeah.
Hey, from South Africa.
What's up?
Tuning seems like a never-ending...
It's never going to end.
No. You know, it's just what it is. I mean, you know, the obvious solution to the problem is to learn how to do it yourself. And it's doable. There's no question about it. But it's also nice to just pay people. Just like, you know, when I needed a new water heater, I could have done it myself. But why when I could just pay someone else to do it?
Yeah.
What's the name of the iOS app for speaker polarity?
Speaker Pop.
Is it Speaker Pop?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Studio Pop. 6, Speaker Pop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaker Pop. Speaker Poop.
Wow. Yeah, you just go in and type Speaker Pop, comes out, done.
Yeah, pop like soda.
Pop like soda, yeah.
Kenya, what's going on? The 4500 does full wireless Android Auto and screen mirroring, correct? Yes, the screen mirroring thing is hit or miss.
Depends.
Depends because that keeps changing. Yeah. I know we were talking to somebody, was it Kenwood that was talking about that? That's one of the features that is constantly going to keep working and break and not work and work again and then not work because of the just, it's one of those things that they're giving you as a bonus. Never should it ever be a selling feature in my mind because it's not 100%.
All right, it's worth it to upgrade them from the RR to the RR2.
I mean, the only thing you'd want to upgrade to the RR2 for is if you are going to add the radar detector to the system or you need those 3 EXT outputs to do something in your car. If not, no, there's really no reason at the moment to upgrade to an RR2.
All right, the GMDX 975, it's okay for amping my speakers with a factory stereo and adding a sub later on. Is there something that you will like?
Recommend over it?
Yeah.
No, that's a fine amplifier. You could hook it up to your factory radio. I mean, it just has a generic high level to low level adapter built into it. It's obviously not that great, and when you look at the price of the amplifier, it kind of reflects that. If you just have a base model stereo that's minimal at best, you'll be okay. Otherwise, I'd probably think about investing in a better high level to low level adapter for it. Something like the LC7i, or if you'd like some adjustment, think about like the LCQ1 that has a EQ built into it. Speaker stop sounds like a new boy. Do you guys equalize before setting the gain or first set the gain and de-equalize? So typically when it comes to setting the gain, when I start EQing, I start with the gain all the way down, and I usually gain after the fact. If I have to gain at all, I gain after the fact. Just because that's the way I like to do it. Some guys, everyone has a process. Like we just listened to someone talk about their 10-step process to tuning.
Yeah.
And it really relied heavily on de-equalization. So if your DSP has a wonderful de-equalization circuit, then yeah, you can actually go back in. Like if anybody saw the video we did with the new key lock.
Yeah. Key lock.
One of the things about that is you do some gaining beforehand, and then it does its magic and straightens out the signal and it gives you that nice flat signal. If you take that nice flat signal and go into an amplifier or into a DSP, at that point, yeah, you could use something like a DD1 because you have a nice flat signal going into it. The thing you have to remember is when adjusting an EQ, if you gain up, that's going to make things louder. If you gain down, that's going to pull things away. So that's where gain adjustment becomes very difficult on a EQ because everyone always wants to go up. Well, if you're going up, start with your gains all the way down, and more than likely you're going to leave them there because if you adjusted, let's say, your tweeter 3 to 6 dBs, you're done. You're never going to gain up that amplifier. It's maxed out. There's nothing left for it to give.
What's up, Ricardo? Ricardo Rangel.
Hey, what's up, Monster? You've given it all the signal you can. You've just given it to it on that one band. So, and then, if you do this V curve, then you're done. That's it. There's no more gain to be had.
We're talking about a curve. Yeah. All right. It's possible to retain the XM radio when replacing the factory radio on the Camaro SS. Where is it? I installed the Kenwood DNX5. Yeah.
With the metric kit? No. No, you're gonna have to get the
separate.
You're gonna have to get the SVX 300, which is probably a bonus. I would totally get the SVX 300. You could probably retain the antenna, which is the SAT. Get the SAT1 antenna adapter. Get to the factory antenna. and then go that way. You might also need an extension just because the SVX 300. But like some of the harnesses that do retain the Sirius XM, like Maestro does a pretty good job of it. It's still basic though and doesn't give you any artwork. It just allows you to like do presets and real basic functionality there. But if you move up to the SVX 300, then you'll get the full artwork, you'll get the full experience. It integrates much better than trying to retain that factory one.
All right. If you send an email, we don't get that email.
That goes to Paul.
That goes to Paul. So Paul, it's
and if he hasn't gotten back to you yet, he probably will at some point.
Yeah,
I know we dealt with some emails today.
Yeah.
I went over there and had to answer a bunch of questions, so he'll be getting back to a bunch of email people later in the week.
It's a lot of people. All right. Is any difference on setting time alignment for a three-way component set and passive versus active?
Yes. Yeah, so there's totally going to be a big difference between doing a...
What's up, Anthony?
No, what happened? No video? What do you mean?
I still got the video.
Okay, I don't know.
Hey, Mom.
Never mind, it's back. Oh, it might have locked up on his end. It's California, man. No one's leaving
California.
anywhere. They're not driving on the streets. They're all like, if you're watching his video, he does like, he shows nobody's on the street. It's you know, Anthony's car stereo life.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, there's always going to be a difference between time alignment and, on a passive system as opposed to an active system. Typically, pardon me. Ooh, that was good. Typically on a passive system, you go for the mid bass. However, that's not set in stone. The other thing too is depending on how good your passive crossovers are really going to help make your jobs easier. So on the passive crossover three-way, a lot of them have like switches to control certain things like high mid-level, low mid-level, and attenuation for the tweeter. These things all are going to play with your time alignment. So get those set first, meaning if you want a loud tweeter, attenuate the tweeter up. If you want a quiet tweeter, attenuate the tweeter down. If it has a feature for high mid, low mid, do those first. Get that the way you like it, and then set for time alignment and start with the mid bass. So for example, if the mid bass is 54 inches that way and 24 inches that way, obviously you want to bring this one out further to match that. So start with that, and then you're going to play your test tones to see what works and what doesn't. And that's it. And eventually, it's not, you know, when it comes to time alignment, yes, if you go full active, you're going to get a better time alignment. There's no question about it. But that doesn't mean you're not going to get time alignment when doing a three-way active set. You will. It's just not going to be as defined, razor point, like, and which is good because most people don't like that. Most people don't want this it all to sound like there's nothing else other than this. They like the whole spread across the dash, which you're going to get great actually with the passive system when done properly.
Somebody said, do you guys give discounts from people that they bring you cars clean? No, we just say thank you.
Yeah, that's usually the big. We just go, thanks guys.
Thanks guys.
Thanks for thinking of us.
Yeah.
Atlanta, checking in.
What's up?
Audio dropped for a second. It happens.
It must be damn. You're good. Robert, it's on point.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right.
Should I set my tweeters to 0 dB when going active? How accurate is the one car on time alignment? Do you have to adjust after the fact a lot of times? No. If you're going active, why would you use the passive crossover? But yes, I would set it for 0 dB, would be fine. But as far as, you know, the idea of, okay, so the idea of the tune, okay, this is to get it the way you want it to where it sounds the best that it can in the car. So get your time alignment, get your EQ, get that all set up. Now, different music is obviously going to play a little different here and there. So when you're using a DSP, I like to use the DSP to get my foundation to where I want it. Meaning if you're playing 90% of the music that you have, it's like, this is perfect, okay? That 10% where it's like sometimes you wish you had a little bit more, well, that's what the bass and treble control for on the radio. If you feel you want a little bit more treble, you turn that up 1 or 2. If you feel you don't, you turn it down. Now, when you look at some EQs have global EQ capabilities, which is basically the same idea, meaning you tuned it for this side, you've tuned it for that side, it's all tuned up. Now you're listening to it and you're like, man, I wish I had like a little bit more treble. Well, if it has a global EQ adjustment on it, that means it won't mess with, let's say you have this tweeter at -2 and you have this one at -4 and you just want to bring them both up +1, it'll do that. Where as opposed to having to go into each one and adjust each one +1. That's really helpful. But there again, on your radio, you can do the same thing. So you can go like +1 or 2 on the treble there for that song and then turn it back down. And a subwoofer, it's basically the same idea as having a bass control. You just have a tweeter control, and it's fine.
All right, I already read you post, Peter, but I don't understand the question. If you want to call, you can call tomorrow from 9:30 to 6, 727-216-6170.
$120 difference between the Pioneer. Oh, and the high res. Is it worth it? Really? $120? Huh. I didn't know that. Is it different? Is it worth the difference? At that point, I'd probably just go with a different brand. But I know how you feel about Pioneer. No. I mean, if you don't have the full high res package, then no, you're not going to notice anything. Save the money, Bobby. It's amazing. What does he say? It's amazing how much crap people can stuff into the center console. Oh, I know, man.
No kidding,
dude. It's amazing how much you guys can stuff inside of a tractor trailer. Let me tell you what. The few that we've worked on, man, that's some scary stuff right there. Woo! I'm sure you've seen some cars where it's just like, I don't want to ride in this. I don't want to go anywhere near that. There are so many choices for Exelon. What line do you usually install in the Tundra? I do not need. I do not need steering wheel controls. No, it says I do need steering wheel control adapter. Yes.
Exelon.
If you're looking at Exelon, Exelon has regular Exelon, which goes all the way up to the 8 series, okay, which is going to be the top of the line. The 7706 is real popular if you don't need a CD player. If you want the best of the best, thank you, check out a 906 WR, which is in the next step up on Exelon. That one is by far the best. And then as far as the Toyota is concerned, anytime I do a Toyota, I automatically default to the iData Maestro kit, and I strongly recommend you do the same thing. It's the best one for Toyota. Everyone else makes one, of course, but for me, that's my go-to. So that's what I would recommend, and that'll allow you to retain your steering wheel controls. If you got a backup camera, to retain your backup camera. It'll do everything. It's a wonderful piece. So head on over there to iData and go to help. Need help with an FJ Cruiser?
Yeah, that's what he typed his question, but
it didn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense. So,
I mean, it's an FJ Cruiser.
Right.
It's like the only thing you can do in it. You can put new speakers in it. You can put a radio in it.
Oh, he put a headrest. He put the monitors. He buy a cable for Netflix.
Okay.
Sirius XM, but I don't know what was the question.
Oh.
No, in my truck, minimum clean.
Yeah, I figured it would be.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know I detail for a living. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, you are doing like crazy jobs right now.
Oh, hey, Jason, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up,
What
Jason?
was the Mopar question? What test tunes do you use for tuning the system and what equipment? All right, so for
tuning purposes.
Anyone that has iTunes, you can probably get it on Amazon. There's a disc called My Disc. All right, it's made by Sheffield Labs. It's a wonderful disc to get. It has basically all the test stuff you could ever possibly want on it. That is a great disc to have. If you want to spend $200 and get the Audio Frog RTA, that comes with an amazing disc as well. Honestly, I bought it, spent the $200 to get the disc. Now, when it comes to tuning a car, it depends on what aspect of the tune you're talking about as far as what tool we bring to bear. Mm-hmm. We have every possible tool we can think of when it comes to tuning. So for RTAs, we have 3 DM RTAs at our disposal, so if one is giving us a problem, we can easily just switch to another one. soon to be 4. We also have 4 different handheld RTAs we use. Of course, if we need to use a laptop, we have the Audio Frog RTA. But you need a handheld, you need some form of an RTA. The reason why Andy's Audio Frog RTA is so nice for tuning to cars because it comes in a very affordable price, like $200. And you download the REW software to your laptop, and it allows you to do audio tuning. You can also use an app on your phone. There's plenty of them there that allow you to do basic tuning on your phone. That same company, Studio 6, who makes Speaker Pop, makes the basic DSP amplifier. Different DSPs do different things, and of course, when we have every Steve Meade tool imaginable, so any SMD tool, we have all of them. We have all of them, and you know. There again, we do this for a living, so though some people don't feel that way, if there's a tool that makes our job easier or makes our job better or makes a process work, we buy it and we use them. And those that we don't use, well, you know, it's just what it is. Oh well, shucks. But you know, there are certain things that you just have to have the right tools to do, and doing an RTA is kind of one of those. But there again, at $200 for Andy's tool with a disc and REW. Now, if you want to get the tool of all tools, definitely check out the DMRTA, and now they have the DMRTA Pro.
Yeah.
And
right.
I think there's actually a coupon code.
All right, though the DMHC 5500 NEX Pioneer is good. It is good. So
you have the official. There's a coupon code for the
what?
And I probably shouldn't give this out, but they didn't tell me I couldn't. So you can pick up the DMRTA right now. You can go to their website, audiocontrol.com, and they have a coupon code DMRTA100. So that's basically going to save you $100 off the DMRTA right now. So it's up until April 30th. So if you type in DMRTA 100, you could save $100 on a DMRTA. Mel, what's going on? So if you want the tool of tools, definitely pick up a DMRTA. And if you don't know what we're talking about on a DMRTA, by all means head over to YouTube, type in DMRTA, or go to them, and we did a whole video showing you all the cool stuff it does. And why not? I mean, if you're gonna do this, might as well have the right tools, right, Mel?
That's right. All right. So right here, a 2006 Mustang. If I want to replace this Shaker 1000 amplifier, what would be the best way to go about this? I have Pioneer head unit already, and I want to go full active K2s and a different sub setup.
I mean, Scott, there's nothing bad about that car. That's actually pretty simple as far as like, I mean, you could go to the factory amplifier and unplug it. It's a 2006. I don't know if Metra makes the harness for that. I think they do. I think they make the amplifier bypass harness for that one. If you don't have the right tool, you're a tool. Nice, John. Anyways, I think you can go. I think Metra makes a T harness for that, but it's a pretty straightforward. If you already have a Pioneer radio, then you have your RC output right there. Yeah, get it and go. If it's a Shaker 1000 system, that means you're going to have, obviously, the 8-inch driver in the bottom of the door.
What's up, Mel?
And the 5x7 and the tweeter. Oh, the tweeter might be in the up top. I don't think that's... So it might just be... Oh, so it's a Shaker 1000. It's an 8-inch, and then it's a 5x7 that's a 5 1/4 tweeter all in one. So the amplifier for that should be in the driver's kick for the 8-inch woofers. It's a dual voice coil, so there's 4 wires ran into the door for that, which is nice because you can use those 4 wires to help you go full active. That means there's going to be 6 wires in the door because the radio powers the 5x7 in the top. So if you got to the factory amplifiers in the kick panel, then you would be able to use that wiring if you don't want to run new wiring into the door, and you could split that up. So, and I don't think anyone makes a harness for that. You're going to have to do some cutting. But yeah, no, it's doable. It's totally doable.
Alright, he say, I don't want the Sirius XM to play from the actual radio. It's a JVC. So my question is, how can I hook it up my portable Sirius XM
radio to my JVC radio. On the back of the JVC radio, if it's a video head unit, it should have an auxiliary input or an AV input, okay? It might have one or the other. An auxiliary input would obviously be an 1/8 inch headphone jack or a 3.5 millimeter, depending on how you want to look at it. Or it's going to have an AV jack, which is a set of red and white RCA inputs. If it is an aux jack, obviously you're going to come out of your Sirius XM with an aux jack into the aux jack. If it's the AV input on the back, then you're going to use an RCA to aux jack and plug it in, and then you're going to select aux through the menu on the radio. That's the only way I can think to do it.
What's up, guys? I got a question for you. I'm using an Addison Bit 1 with a high-res Bluetooth DAC running optical, and I have no head unit at all running my iPad as my head unit. How do I use it? How do I use my DD1 to set my gains?
So that's going to be a perfectly flat signal because there's no head unit, so you're just using that. So download the tracks to your iPad, as it were. Turn the EQ off. Turn the subwoofer level up to where you like to have it, and just follow the process as far as that goes. So from your iPad, you're going to play your 0 dB track, and that'll allow you to set your max level. It's going to basically work the same way. There's nothing going to be difficult about that. The only thing now is your iPad is your source unit, so you have to get the tracks onto that. I believe the tracks for the DD1 are on iTunes, so if you can buy them, or if you're an iTunes whatever streaming service, you can get them for free. But yeah, that's it. It'll all work the same. There's no difference. You don't have to have a radio.
Thank you, Alan from UK.
I can't retain steering wheel controls with Maestro RR. Alright, can I retain steering wheel controls with a Maestro RR? Or would I need a separate steering wheel control to my Ford Focus? So yes, the Maestro RR has steering wheel controls built into it. The RR is a complete solution. They make the SR, which is steering wheel controls, which are if you're just going to need a steering wheel control interface as a standalone. If you buy the RR stands for radio replacement. That means every feature that's possible to be done is built into the RR. They do not make any other version than full-on replacement. That's it. Anything that can be done gets put into the RR. So steering wheel controls, backup cameras, beeps, chimes, lane departure, integration with the gauge cluster in the center of the dash, Sirius XM if it's capable, all the things that need, anything that is on the bus that they can retain, you get in the RR. There's no add-on anything. The only time there's an add-on piece for an RR is in a GM. If you have like an overhead, you have to buy that because not all GMs have overheads, but everything else is included. And the same for Chrysler, but that's...
Alright, he said, I have lifetime warranty subscription with the XM radio, blah, blah, blah.
You're not the
how
only
can I
guy.
hook it up? With the aux.
That's it.
Yeah,
the thing is, you get 5 changes with your lifetime warranty. 5. You get 5. They're going to charge you to change from one to the next, but you can move it from tuner to tuner. You get 5 tuners that you can do it on. There again, you're not the first guy to come in and be like, I have a lifetime subscription and we got to try to do some hokey integration to get it to work, and then we always end up pulling it out and putting in a tuner.
Because it doesn't work the same way.
It sucks, or the unit breaks, or it just sounds like crap because it's never been updated. And,
what's up, Marty Dean?
But yeah, that's it. So you got to go in through an aux jack. So
yeah,
there's nothing else you can do.
¿Qué onda, Alex? So he said...
the thing to keep in mind, just real quick on the Sirius XM, the SVX 300 tuner, they've been making that tuner now for almost 10 years. They had a 200 before it, but they've been making that one for a really long time, and that's kind of the port that is going to be going forward. There's no talk of changing the tuner anytime soon because most people are just doing away with the tuner altogether. So if you change it now to the SVX 300, you're going to be good for probably another 5 or 6 years.
Ryan, no, I haven't seen that, but we're going to check it out. Alright.
What was that?
He make a logo.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I tried that, and I'm getting no distortion at 1K. Fully turn it up. But when I went to 40 hertz test on, I get distortion. And I have not set control volume to -7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple things could be causing that. It could be, okay, so that's actually normal. And as we told the story earlier, when we were talking about the car we set up today, it was an Alpine radio. And the volume goes all the way up to 35 on the Alpine radio. However, 27 was where the high frequency tapped out. And we're like, wow, really? We threw it on the RTA, and you could physically see as you went to 28, the distortion would come up, come up, come up, come up, and it would just be at 35. There's just this upside down Christmas tree train wreck just happening all around that. Now on the 40 hertz, there was no distortion whatsoever. You're having the opposite problem. So you're getting distortion at 40 hertz and not at 1,000 hertz. It may be the iPod that's causing the problem or the Bluetooth. So there could be one of those two things that is actually where you're getting the distortion from. You may want to try going wired in to the unit to see if that helps. But if -7 is where it has to be, -7 is where it has to be. It's not the end of the world. It happens. What you want to do is just make sure you get the cleanest signal possible and work from there.
All right, I have a 2019 Dodge Journey, new Kenwood radio with the Metra. Oh man, where is it? With the Metra kit and the radio. Oof.
I know, right?
It's crazy.
40
and the reception is kind of crappy. It's a power antenna or it's just a regular one?
Journey's going to have an amplified antenna in the harness. It's going to be the regular antenna, but in the harness that plugs into the car, there should be a blue wire that needs to be connected. And if it's not, that's why you're getting it. But no, that is not an amplified antenna, so it doesn't need anything other than the basic antenna. The amplifier comes from the radio, and that's what causes that.
Peter, no, you gotta pick one or the other. That's it. You gotta use for the iPhone or for the Netflix. That's it. So you gotta pick one or the other. You can use both. Where is the other one? What is the distortion level on the Kenwood DDX 394?
Typically on Kenwood, they don't clip.
They don't clip, no.
No, the only time we've ever had a Kenwood clip is on like a single DIN. Some of the single DINs do, but none of the video head units ever clipped that all the ones we've ever tested have never clipped. Is a CD best for car audio? No, because we don't listen to CDs anymore. I mean, realistically, if you want the best possible recording, then you want to pick up something that you want to go to high-res tracks or you want to go to high-res tracks. HDtracks.com is where you can pick up things like that. You can get some FLAC files, some DSD files, much higher bit rates than are available, basically double what is available on a CD. So yeah, there is better stuff available to you now. The thing is, whatever you're going to listen to is what you want to tune the car to. All right, so if you want to listen to Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music, SiriusXM streamed, whatever it is you're going to be listening to 90% of the time, that's what you need to set up the car for. If you are never going to listen to a CD ever, then don't set it up using a CD. It's not going to work. It's utterly pointless. Like, we very rarely set anything up using CD. All our stuff is recorded on the phone. That's it. Just use the best that you can as far as from there.
Yeah.
Kenwood or Pioneer double DIN better? Just want your opinion.
I like that. I like that picture. I have spoken.
I have spoken.
Depends.
Depends is the easiest answer for that. And really what it comes down to is, when a guy comes in and he's owned a Pioneer his whole life, and he buys a Kenwood, he's going to be miserable. He's going to hate it. He's going to come back, and we're going to have to put a Pioneer in. The guy that's owned a Kenwood radio his whole life, he comes in, he buys a Pioneer, he's going to hate it. He's going to want us to put a Kenwood back in. If a guy that has never owned either one of them comes in and he's like, I want to buy one of these. I've never owned a radio in my life. You kind of have to play with it a little bit and see which one makes more sense to you. If you look at like who makes the best radio right now, meaning who has the best double DIN, best features, well, it's going to be Kenwood, because Kenwood has the XR, what is it, the XR, 996 and the 9906 has the best screen of any radio. It has the best sound of any radio.
What's up, Marty Dean?
It basically kicks the crap out of all of it.
Yeah.
But you might not need all that. So then it kind of scales down. It's like a 4500 has a detachable face, but it has a crappy screen because it's still a clear resistive screen. Like, wow, really? A clear resistive screen in 2020 on a high-end radio? Who the hell wants that? So, then you got to go, in a Pioneer, you got to go all the way up to the 8 series to get the better screen. Well, it's got GPS. Well, if you don't want GPS and you're not going to buy that, in which case you go back over to Kenwood. So, I mean, that's my 2 cents on that.
All right, I don't even know this one.
I need some Van Halen HD tracks. Hell yes, right?
Mike, I don't know, maybe you.
A 2008
Mitsubishi Outlander, the OEM Rockford sub, it's an 8-inch or a 10-inch. And it's a ported box or a seal box. And we'll use a shallow mount sub.
Well, I can tell you it's not a 10. Because it would never be an 8. It's probably a 6. Yeah, it's either going to be a 6 or an 8. It's not going to be a 10. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And more than likely, it will be a seal box. However, because it's Mitsubishi and it's just weird, it could be ported. So I got nothing. When it comes to those things, we just pull the woofers out, we put in whatever
you
fits.
can check the Pioneer shallow subwoofer, or you can check the Kicker Comp RT subwoofer.
What Pioneer is a shallow chassis? God, I have no idea. Is the new one shallow? That's not shallow, is it? I honestly have no idea. I know in the Kenwood it's the 7706, but I have or the 706. I think they have the 706 too now. Honestly, I have no idea on the Pioneer.
Everything changed.
Have I even seen a short? Do we?
Yeah, we
do.
Yeah.
We do, don't we?
But I don't remember.
I have no idea what it is. Yeah, I know. Hey, sorry, can I update my GPS and my Kenwood doubled in? Yeah, so that's going to be done through Garmin. So all the Kenwood updates are done through Garmin, so you're going to head over to Garmin.com and then, go to the Kenwood section. Pioneer IB flat 12-inch are awesome. Love mine. Yeah, those were nice. Big fan for many, many years of the Pioneer IB flats. And then I found Kicker Comp RTs. Hey, it's Lori. How long ago did you watch the SEAL Team episode? I gotta find that for her tonight.
All right. Yeah. Hey guys, I have a tech question for you. Currently doing a build in my 2019 Kona Electric.
Oh, cool.
And I'm trying to find a solution to tap into the SPDEF signal while keeping the volume control from the OEM head unit. Is there something that I can interface with the SPDEF?
That's a big no.
Bus?
No one has anything for that yet. You're gonna have to go after the amplifier. Yeah, there's nothing for that. It's it's one of those things that seems like it'd be so simple, but it's not, and no one's designing anything for it yet. So we're still kind of nope.
Yeah.
I know it sucks. It sucks bad.
We doing okay, man. How are you guys doing over there?
Yeah.
Marty.
What's up from Grand Junction, Colorado? MECP Auto Tech Geek Squad.
Geek Squad.
Ooh, dude, are you guys out of work? Because I know they closed all the Best Buy stuff, so that sucks. The install bays are all closed.
All right, so if you Pioneer doesn't have a update and the website,
then there isn't one.
And there isn't one.
Pioneer is really firm. When you're looking at the layout for it, it gives you the little block of like owner's manual specifications. If it doesn't say update there or support, then there isn't one available to you. So like the 4500 still does not have an update at all, and it's a year old. So go figure. Just finished watching, what did JL Morales say? I just finished watching Pennyworth and Hunters. Thanks for the recommendation. Pennyworth was way better.
Hunters, I want to watch Hunters, man.
Hunters, you got to watch Hunters just so you can watch the ending. Because the ending just kind of like really throws you off.
Oh, so I just want to watch the ending, that's it?
Well, no, you got to understand why the ending is so important. But Kenwood LDAC High Res 12-inch, August, September. So hold on, August or September.
Hold on.
August, September. You're looking at August and September. Is the pack audio USB 3 available to purchase yet? Yes, it is. That's the new cigarette lighter adapter one. Yep, you can get that now. If so, where can I purchase one? I see it listed in the pack catalog, but nothing online. there again, stuff like that is a lot of the times not online. Any Pack Audio dealer in your area, though, should be able to get it. So anyone that's in Amp Global. Amp Global might have a 1-800 number you can call located on the ampglobal.com website, which will then allow you to tell them where you live, and they can connect you with one of their dealers or somebody to get you the product if you can't find it online, which you might not be able to. Hope you guys are in good condition. I mean, we're doing okay.
Yeah, we're not complaining. We're here.
I mean, we are complaining, but isn't everybody at this point?
Yeah, pretty much. Ryan, suggestions
try
to
Killing
you.
Eve, killer show.
That was pretty cool, yeah.
Did you see that one?
Pimp my car audio system monthly once. That's pretty cool. I think it will be a success. Yeah.
So, I mean, I watched a movie this weekend that had Mel Gibson in it, where he was traveling with his daughter, and she was wanted by the cartel, and it was utterly horrible.
Ooh.
But I watched it anyways. But other than that, man, like I don't think there's anything left to watch.
I told you I watched the LA originals.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. How all that stuff came out, and pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't
Netflix.
think I have anything to watch right now. It kind of sucks. Hey, the Audison Bit 10 has 2 remote ins and connections. Do you know why? It only has 1 remote out connection. It has triggers, so there are some triggers on the Bit 10 to do different things. That might be what they're talking about there. So like you can add delays and get it to do different things, and you could also use it for toggle switches to change presets. So like if you put 2 presets in it and you don't have the DRC, there are triggers to actually have it switch between the 2 presets.
Check channel 1 for the information on the Sirius XM.
Yeah, or 0. 0 is going to be your ESM. 001 is going to be the
information
preview channel. It used to be 184, but they changed that now.
And they tell you, yeah, what.
All right, guys, guess what? That takes us to an hour. We're sorry if we didn't get to your questions tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in for this hour. We had a wonderful time. We tried to answer as much as we can. And if we didn't answer your questions, of course, there's always Saturday to try back on YouTube, where we do this again on YouTube for fun and excitement. And, of course, you can also try paying attention on Instagram, where we do 5 minutes with 5-star, where we come on, we talk about a product possibly, we talk about what we're working on possibly, and of course if we have time, we answer questions. Right now is a good time. I think we did almost 3 hours worth of live show last week on Instagram.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, you never know. So if you follow us on Instagram, just turn on your alerts and notifications. If you just want content to watch because you're bored out of your mind, head over to YouTube and sign up for the new Dean and Fernando's Car Stereo Clips. It's a new channel where we take the questions from these live shows and that's it, just one question. So they're quick and easy. You know, if you're in the bathroom, brushing your teeth, whatever, driving in the car, you just want some quick information to keep you, needle point sharp on all the things that are car audio, that's a great place. Please go over there and, sign up. If you want to follow Clean Wire on Facebook, 12 Volt Clean Wire Club, sign up. Fernando will approve you. It's a great place to go just to show Clean Wire and ask questions about Clean Wire.
It's
only wire, and it's only the after shots. Unless if you give us a before shot without an after shot, it's going to be deleted.
Yeah.
So we're real picky about that. We want to keep it as clean as possible.
And
DNF Tool Drawer is a place you can go to buy all the cool tools we use. What?
And sometimes use your flash if you can.
Yeah, don't make them dark. If the
don't
pictures suck, don't
we
post
don't see
them.
All right. So thank you guys.
Oh, don't forget Patreon. And of course, Teespring/store is a place you can go to pick up your cool shirt. There's a bunch of them up there for sure. We added a bunch of new ones. We will try to stay as safe as humanly possible, as long as you guys try to stay as safe as humanly possible. It's crazy out there, guys. There's no other way to say it. We hope you enjoyed this hour reprieve from the craziness back to what we all know and love, which is crazy car audio, because this is just as nuts. You guys have a wonderful night. Be safe, be fun, be crazy. Hug the ones you love, and do some video chats with the ones that you can't hang out with.
Driving in the guy, don't do that.
Wait. No, go. End it.
All right, guys. Bye.
You got tomorrow.